YouTube's going live. Let's get the podcast recording. Welcome to the Tyler and Kyler people. I'm super excited. I've been looking forward to this. Tyler, how are you feeling, my friend?
I'm not going to lie, a little nervous.
I know, right when we press record, dude, I just got like a stream of the jitters. I feel like my hands are shaking. So the main focus here for the Tyler and Kyler show is we're going to be talking about issues that high schoolers, young adults face, and our goal each week is hopefully to produce good enough material that you'll listen to it and actually have some sort of life change from it. Now, before we get all crazy and start talking about a bunch of in-depth subjects, I want to have you get to know who we are so that we can, build a relationship. So Tyler, I want you to start us off. Give us some background of who you are, and we'll go from there.
Okay. So I run a little hashtag thing, daily devotional thing that I post on my Instagram story every night. I have an Instagram for it. It's Activate the Word. It's just something I enjoy doing after my Bible study. It's something I can use to engage some of my followers. My hobbies just pretty much consist of volleyball, photography. I dive a lot, free dive a lot.
Dude, I've always wanted to do that. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
How long can you hold your breath for?
Longest I've held my breath for. I've been under for like a minute and a half.
That's pretty good.
Not the best, but
dude, my brother held his breath for 4 minutes one time. It's pretty crazy. Oh. Yeah, it was in a spa though. I feel like that's cheating.
Oh,
I feel like
moving.
Yeah, you're not moving. So tell me a little bit more about Activate the Word, because I'm curious. What made you want to start Activate the Word?
So it started after camp. So we're on the bus ride back from camp down the mountain. And I don't know if I haven't told you this story before.
No, you haven't. It's perfect for the podcast.
Yeah, we're on the bus ride down from camp. And I I had the Bible app on my phone. And I go on there and I see that there's a part of it for Bible plans. And I'm like, dude. So I started like 5.
It's like, not going to start with 1. I'm starting with 5, bro. This is after camp. I'm on a spiritual high. I'm going to take this down. All right.
So I started 5, and one of them had a section at the end of the devotional, end of the devotional, and it was hashtag Activate the Word, and it was a small thing. And I just, at the beginning of it, I started copying and pasting that, and I just pasted it in my Instagram story. That plan was only a 7-day plan. So I took it and I made it into a thing. I made it into my thing, and so I continued with it, and I kept writing them nightly, and at the beginning, it wasn't the easiest, but now it's getting easier. And in the middle, there was a hard spot where it was like, I have no content.
Yeah.
But then I found something, and I write mainly from my Bible plan. So I'll take my Bible plan, and I'll just use ideas from that, and I'll put it into my Activate the Word.
Gotcha.
So I normally write from that, and I'll start a 7-day one just to keep it weekly.
Yep.
Different topics. And usually it's on purpose, finding your purpose, when God gives you purpose, asking for your purpose, that kind of thing, just under the purpose category somewhere.
Okay, so you were telling me a little bit about your system, how you get it done.
Yeah.
And so tell the listeners how you come up with material each day, because like you said, coming up with content to put out into the world can be intimidating because no one wants to be repetitive. People don't want to get scrutinized. They don't want to try and motivate somebody and get shot down for it. So how do you come up with your material?
Like I said, I kind of use my Bible plan and I pull stuff out of it. I use one of the plans that I do, and I'll pull little bits and pieces out of there, and I'll use ideas or examples out of there, and I'll just kind of build it. And as I'm writing it, it starts to become original content.
Okay, so what's your system? Like, what time of day do you do it? How do you actually produce it? Because I understand how you use your Bible app, you use your life experience to make it your own, but what's your actual process? Because for most people, they come up with the excuse that I don't have time, or I don't have a good system to do it. I have too many distractions. So what's your system to get that done every day? Because yours is a daily thing. You don't miss a day. So how do you make sure that gets done every day?
So, but when I do the actual plans is when I'm sitting in bed and it's like I'm done with my homework. I've just started cooling down. I may have watched something on Netflix or something. and I'm sitting in bed right before I go to sleep, and I'll do my plans.
Yeah.
And I have one plan that's like an actual study plan, and then I have my purpose plan.
Okay.
And the purpose plan is, of course, what I draw stuff out of. But I do it before bed, and it's like a 15, 20-minute thing.
Okay.
And I don't know. It's just easier for me to wind down that way, and it's just something I do at the end of the day.
So do you think that ending your day like that every day kind of gives you a fresh start in the morning? Like, have you noticed that spending time with God right before bed, trying your best to, obviously, you're not doing this for yourself, you're trying to help other people. So do you find that having that be the last thing you do you think it helps you sleep better? Do you think it helps you wake up more rejuvenated? Like, did you notice a change from before Activate the Word to after?
Yeah, in a way. I find now that I don't hold grudges as much as long as I used to. Like, I used to hold grudges. And when I say that, I mean I held grudges.
Okay.
Now I'm doing a little bit better with that. It's not like I wake up angry. I don't wake up angry anymore, which it's really hard for me because I am an angry person.
Well, okay. That's mainly what I was curious about, because ever since I started Coffee with Kyler, we obviously have like the same sort of thing where it's a daily inspiration. You're doing your best every day to help other people. And I found ever since I started that, like, my system's completely opposite than yours. I don't do mine at night. I do mine first thing in the morning. When I wake up out of bed, I grab my phone, I post the video, do all that stuff, and it starts my day off completely different than it used to. Because before, I'd wake up and my morning routine never had structure. It just was like, oh, get my coffee, do whatever. There was no real routine that I felt glorified God. And ever since I started that morning routine, it's almost like that's my kickstart for the day. And I always feel like there's so many people out there that don't have a solid morning routine. Because, I mean, I don't know about you, but for when I was in high school, I had a good routine. You don't think about it, but subconsciously, you're put in a place where you have to create a routine. You have to be up at a certain time. You got to do almost the same thing every day to get yourself to school. And I don't know, I just feel like that's missing in a lot of people's life, is that like daily structure. Yeah. So, all right, tell us anything else about yourself. So you've got your Activate the Word. We know how you get that done. Where did you already tell us where you're from? Where were you born? And yeah, where'd you start off from?
Same place I live now.
Oh, you've been in Elsinore your whole life?
Well, for the first 2 months of my life, we lived in an apartment in Corona, and then we moved to Elsinore. We've been here for 15 years, almost 15 years.
Dude, that's like almost the same thing as me. But I moved to Marietta, I think, when I was like 6 months, and then I've been there forever. So, yeah. All right, good to know. Good to know. Anything else interesting about you that you think we should know before I go selfishly into talking about myself for a minute?
I don't know, not this time. Maybe I'll think of something 1 or 2 episodes down the line.
Sounds good. So yeah, you guys know where I'm from Marietta. My hobbies basically include working, and I was a youth pastor assistant, whatever you want to call it, for a little while. I did that for a couple of years, and that's how I met this fella right here. First time I ever preached was pretty intimidating, and I remember he was in my small group after, and he was one of those kids that he's got a blessing from God, because he comes up to me and gives me a response to my sermon that you wouldn't expect out of most 12-year-old kids. And it was in that moment that I knew that he was something special. So we've developed over the course of these past couple of years a strong friendship. And I really am grateful for the fact that we have this ability to grow together. And if it wasn't for Youth Out Loud and volunteering within the church and spending time with God in that environment, I wouldn't have nearly as many of the relationships that I have now. And so sports, all that kind of stuff, I'm trying to think. I did swimming in high school. I was a swimmer, did that butterfly, and yeah, that was pretty funny. I got my Letterman jacket my first year, and then after that, I quit doing it because all I wanted was the jacket. And so I did sports for a while. But my main passion, to be honest with you, ever since I got out of high school, I spent years chasing after money, dude. I wanted to be rich. I remember telling you, first Bible study we had, our first small group, I'm like, I'm going to drive a Lamborghini. Yeah. I'm going to be super rich. And yeah, it was funny. God had to humble me over and over again and make me realize that money is not the thing to change or chase after. The thing you got to chase after is what makes you most happy and what I believe glorifies God. And for my life, I am obsessed with making sure that somebody rested a little bit easier that night because I poured out as much as I could to motivate and inspire as many as possible. So long story short, if you want to get to know me, just take a look at Coffee with Kyler. It's who I am. It's basically my passion. And another thing people might probably wonder is why on earth do we do this in the first place? So what made you consider saying yes to doing this podcast?
Okay, so with Activate the Word, I told you I wanted to make a grow. I wanted to take the next step with it, which is that was building my website, building everything. But then after that, I was like, dude, where do I go with this? What do I do?
Mm-hmm.
And so I talked to you. I saw something about Coffee with Kyler, and you're going to build this website and podcast in the next month. And I was like, dude, I could totally help with this.
Mm-hmm.
So I texted you, and I'm like, if you need any help, I can do this. And you're like, we should do this together. And I'm like, dude, seriously, we need to.
So if for those of you who don't know, obviously, like right now, I've got Facebook right here. I've got YouTube right here. I've got another YouTube over here. I've got this microphone that you can't see because he's so professional. There's so much going on behind these scenes. And this kid, if I was doing this by myself, I'd be sitting in my living room with my phone in my hand, and none of this would be even relatively as amazing as it is right now. So what's funny is I find that as you go through life, you're going to encounter relationships that you have no idea how powerful they're going to be. And if you can work on just being there for other people and really working on that relationship, you have no idea where it can take you. And yeah, when it comes to our friendship, man, when he said yes to doing this podcast, my excitement level went through the roof because I know how talented he is. And when it comes to the podcast, what did you think we could do as like a goal for it? What did you think, like when you said yes and when we agreed to start this, what was your initial idea of how it would look?
So originally I see the normal podcast scene where, you have someone at a kitchen table starting out with a mic, not necessarily this microphone, like you said, sitting on a couch or at a kitchen table with their phone in their hand. I saw this starting out, or I saw the end goal sitting in like a professional looking studio.
Oh yeah.
And being able to like actually go talk in places with you, talk as a group, or talk as just you or just me, and see people's lives transform because of what we're saying through God, or what God's saying through us.
Mm-hmm. Nice. That's kind of the exact same feel that I had. Every person that I've told these last couple days, like, what is your guys' plan? What's going to be your podcast? Because a lot of people have podcasts. A ton of people have them, but very few have a specific goal oriented to it. Many people like to just share their ideas, express what's going on within their lives. But I think that us together, our main goal for this, like I said earlier, is I want to know that somebody encountered this podcast. They listened to what we had to say. They heard the ideas that we expressed through what God has put on our heart. And I want to know that they went to bed that night resting easier, having more confidence in their future, having more confidence within themselves to go out and do whatever it is that's put on their heart. So I feel like as we continue to go through this podcast, as we continue to talk about certain subjects and hit on ideas that affect us, I think that there are going to be many, many, many lives transformed and changed through this. Now, as these next couple months go, as these next couple of years go by, I think that there's going to be hundreds, if not thousands of types of ideas that we're going to cover. And today, what I think we could do is I've got literally like 100 types of ideas that we could go through. And I think what would be good just for today is as we just take a look at this list, we can hit on like a couple of them, share maybe a couple personal stories, whatever really comes to mind for the first of it. So the first bullet point we have on here is bullying, because I remember so vividly that bullying was probably one of the hardest things I had to go through. When I was a kid, I think the first real memorable moment I have was 5th grade. I was in 5th grade, and there was this girl I had a crush on since I was literally in 1st grade. And I'm not going to say her name because she's actually friends with me on Facebook, but there was this girl, had a crush on her. And I remember you got to think 5 years of buildup. I finally tell this girl how I feel one day. I'm like, hey, I really like you. I want to go out with you. She looks at me and she goes, Kyler, you're too fat. Nobody's ever going to go out with you. That was the beginning of the most insecure couple years of my entire life. And what's funny is she probably wasn't trying to be mean. She probably wasn't trying to hurt my feelings. But I'm 24 years old now. That was almost shoot, that was 14 years ago. And dude, that still stings. Like it was that first moment where you hear it and you're just like, oh man, that really stuck with me good. And it's like, it's unbelievable how one word or one sentence can literally last for 10, 15, 20, 50 years of your life if you can't recognize it and really basically if you can't test what they have said against you. Because yeah, in that moment I was fat.
Yeah.
But I guarantee if you took a survey of all the girls that were in that school, one of them would have been like, yeah, Kyler might be chubby, but he's whatever. So what's funny is you have to go back and really challenge those things that people have potentially said about you. Now, my question for you is, what on this list pops out at you most and you want to see if there's a story you can share to help somebody potentially?
I can't even say bowling because obviously my bowling doesn't even compare to your bowling.
Hey, well, that's a good thing. That should be a big blessing. What about
social anxiety?
Ooh, all right. Okay. Tell me a story, my friend. Tell me a story.
Okay. So when I'm in big crowds, like I prefer small spaces over big spaces. If I get a desk in the corner, I'm totally okay with it because I don't mind being in my own little space. But when I'm in a big space with a ton of people, like SeaWorld.
Like SeaWorld? Okay, hold on. Stop. What about SeaWorld? That was totally out of the ballpark. You got to tell us what happened at SeaWorld.
So we're walking through SeaWorld all day long. And by the end of it, I am like walking behind people, and even at school, I cannot stand people who walk slow because I'm trying to get to class.
Mm-hmm.
And so these people are walking slow, and I'm just ready to go home at this point. And so, we're in a huge crowd where you can't like go around them because there's someone over here, and then the bathrooms are right here, so there's a huge line. And so by the end of that day, I was just ready to clock someone because it was bad. It was. Oh gosh. It was nothing about SeaWorld.
It was just the people at SeaWorld.
Yeah.
Okay, so how does social anxiety affect you when you're at school? Because like you said, corner spot in the room, it's fine with you.
Oh,
how would you feel if you got a front and center spot?
When there's people behind me and there's people that I have to talk to, like if we're required to do group work, I'm the person in the group that will do all the work without people having to ask because I just don't want to have to talk to those people.
Dude, there's probably a lot of people out there right now that are like, oh my gosh, that's exactly how I feel.
Yeah, I generally don't like people. Like there's very few people that I like.
Okay, that totally makes sense. So right under social anxiety, we've got depression listed. And dude, I would say that I listened to a podcast earlier today, and they were saying that there was a study where I think it was 6% of Americans, obviously you never get a concrete study, but let's just say 6% of Americans are depressed.
Yeah.
Out of 100 million people, that's 6 million people. There's roughly 300 million in America. That's 18 million people right now that are currently suffering with depression. That means that they're having a hard time going through their day-to-day life without experiencing some overwhelming negative feeling. And there's only been a couple moments in my life, like right after my divorce, right after a couple other moments in my life. That was probably the biggest one where I was just jacked up. I was worried about my future. I was worried about 10 minutes down the line because I didn't have any idea how it was going to play out. And I feel as though if people could just start something that they're good at, if they could, like, everybody has a skill or a gift or a talent. God promises that. It's in the Bible. There are numerous talents. Everybody is guaranteed at least one. And these talents, if you can learn what they are, like let's say your talent is just servanthood. It's hospitality. It's helping people out. You enjoy taking on the burden of somebody else. If that would be your gift and you are currently suffering with any sort of depression, I think your number one goal should be to go help somebody and serve somebody closest to you in order to start making room for that gift to give you that joy and that peace back. Because the Bible says that if you work on your gift, it will make room for you. It'll make room for you in the world to start experiencing what you're called to experience. I don't think God wants any of us to live in a state of depression or a state of worry, fear, anxiety. I think we're called to make that gift usable. So my question is, what do you think your gift is, just to help people understand what a potential gift might be?
I don't know. Like, I do always like activate the words on finding your purpose and asking God for your purpose. And I do those things when I do my Bible study, but I've yet to be told my gift. Like, I like to think that my gift is social media, using social media to like spread the word and actually, because like I said, going up on stage, to being in front of people, like people in general, I don't think is necessarily my forte. So
the Bible says that there's obviously a gift of leadership. And to be honest, from an outside perspective, I would think that that's probably one of your strongest gifts is leadership, because I didn't have to ask you to put any of this together. You did it. You found a problem and you just killed it. You absolutely killed it. And I see that is a huge gift for you, is your ability to step outside of your comfort zone and to just make other people's lives easier in a sense. I mean, even when it comes to me helping you with those videos and your video production, it's like I'd get there and you already had everything mapped out pretty much. And all I had to do was provide a tiny bit of 2 cents. But for the most part, you led the whole process. And for me, I think my mouth is my gift. I literally, half the things that come out of my mouth, I even sit back and go, dude, that was pretty good. I don't know where that came from. Like, thanks, God. I appreciate you talking through me. But when it comes to many other areas of my life, I know that there's certain areas I lack in gifts. But when it comes to my ability to speak and my ability to try and express what I think is hopefully beneficial to somebody else, that's how I found my way out of being depressed. The moment, like the weeks leading up to the beginning of Coffee with Kyler, you would have never, ever imagined that I was Kyler. You would have met me 2 weeks before Coffee with Kyler and you'd be like, this isn't the person I know.
Yeah.
This dude is acting like he's lost. He's making the worst decisions possible. He's just blatantly not the person he was. And the moment Coffee with Kyler got started, I think it was like a week or two in, somebody sent me a message saying just, hey, man, thank you for doing what you're doing. I think it was Trent Lancaster. I'm going to give him a shout out because this dude literally put me on fire. Like the moment he gave me acknowledgement that it was making a change, holy moly, I get chills thinking about it, dude. It has given me, yeah, dude, I'm getting Jesus bumps. Oh, dude, that was such a funny day. So we were filming a video one day, and I got so excited because some guy walked by, and he was saying how amazed he was with it, and I got goosebumps. I'm like, man, I'm getting them Jesus bumps, and it was pretty funny. But yeah, when it comes to depression, I found my greatest way to escape it, my greatest way out was by working on the gift that I feel like God gave me. And that was just by speaking 1 minute a day. Like you got to think, a minute video. Most of the days it's first try. Some days it's second or third try. It's not that much time that goes into it, but the reward that reaps from it, the eternal fruit is what I get all my freedom from. Now, question again, what's another one on the list that comes to your mind that we can share with somebody to hopefully make their life a little bit less stressed? Ugh. What do you see? Oh, dude. Okay. If you can't find one off the top of your head, there's one I want to just smash on real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so is it cool to be mature in high school? I wrote this down, and dude, this has to be probably, I'm not obviously in high school anymore. I was there 6 years ago, but this was probably something I wish somebody would have asked me. Like, do you think it is mature? Or do you think it is cool to be mature in high school? Because I feel like most of the time when people act unbelievably immature, they get praised for it because it almost like breaks the monotony of school. Like when you're stuck at school, it's the same thing every single day. A lot of the time people can't stand being there. And when somebody can act out of immaturity, when they can act like a fool, people think it's funny. People think, oh, goodness gracious, thank you. I finally got a break from this day. And I think it builds those kids up to act more immature. And it creates this horrible downward cycle of acting out immaturely to get a laugh or to get a rise out of people. And I think if people understood how cool it really is to be mature in high school and the benefits that it could have to them long term, holy moly, dude, it would make such a difference. So if you're in high school and you're watching this, I hope that you would ask yourself, is it cool for me to act mature? Because it definitely would be. If you could begin to recognize like, hey, that kid acted out to try and be funny and he's going to go down the wrong path. If you step out of your comfort zone, go have a conversation with that kid, try and figure out why he's making these decisions in the first place, you might have a better chance of, I don't know, being the mature one on campus. So that's something I just really wanted to ask people, because I think that would be, dude, it would make high school a much different place if people understood how to, not act a fool to try and get a laugh. So anything else that you can think of that's on the first page of our list of issues that people face?
Okay, so like I said, I get angry really fast.
Okay.
Controlling emotions. That's
Woo!
just one that pops
Here we
up.
go.
Is I get angry and I try to control my emotions, but sometimes there's like that overwhelming like rage.
Mhm.
Just like punch a table or like punch a wall. And it's so hard to control that rage. Like, I know it sounds weird because I'm usually like cool-headed in front of you.
Yeah, you should see me when I'm alone sometimes. Things can break. Things will break.
Yeah.
But okay, so controlling your how do you control it? Or do you still feel like you're trying to learn how?
I don't know how I do. I just know that sometimes I'm able to and sometimes I'm not able to.
Okay, so give me an example of the last time you remember being able to control your emotions.
Last time I was able.
It could be anger, it could be sadness, it could be fear. I mean, you are still in your first week of school. This is the last first week. What does that mean? This was your first week. It was the end of your first week.
Yeah.
So were there any moments this week where you realized you were out of control and then you had to bring yourself back in?
Not really. This week was like I had people saying things to me that like bullying me through words, not like bullying you, how you got bullied. But I had people saying things to me, but at this point, I just like don't really care because it's just another person that used to be my friend that isn't my friend anymore.
Okay. So think about summer. Was there a moment where you had a blow up with the family? Is there a moment where you had a blow up with little sis?
Oh,
and whoa, look at that. I hit the trigger. So tell me a moment where you lost control and then regained it. Because I want to find if there's any sort of a tool that you used or a path that you carved that we can help somebody else recognize that they can maybe use that path as well.
Yeah. So yesterday.
Oh, there you go.
I'm trying to like record a voiceover for a video. I'm sitting in my room and I'm like, hey, I'm going to close my door. I told my mom I'm trying to record this voiceover. And all of a sudden I hear the vacuum going off and my sister's running through the hall making race car noises. I've told her 3 times at this point. So I walk out there and I'm like, Allie, I've told you 3 times. You need to stop. And then the next thing I hear, I close my door and here comes race car down the hallway.
Oh my God.
And I was like, you're kidding me. So I walk out here and I go off on Allie.
Okay.
And so I go back in my room and I'm like just sitting there. And I've been recording this over and over and over again. I'm like on my 72nd try or something like that.
That can be frustrating.
Dude, seriously. And I'm just getting more upset. I'm sitting in my room and I just put down my phone. And I'm like, I have nothing to do at this point. Just got to wait for this to blow over. Just wait for them to stop making noise.
Okay, so you, instead of continuing to be frustrated, you decided to just wait.
Just put it away and wait until it's quiet. Wait till I can actually move on from this. Wait until I can actually do this. Can actually get a quiet moment so I can do this. And after that, after the 5th try, after that, it was done. I was done with that. I walk out here. I'm not mad anymore. I'm not on my sister. She's sitting on the couch watching videos. I don't even remember. But I wasn't. I was fine.
So what made you stop? Like while you were sitting there for however long it was, 5 minutes, did you sit there and pray? Did you sit there and tell yourself like, okay, once everybody shuts up, I'm going to get this done? Like what was your self-talk? Like that's what I'm curious about. Or did you just not even really focus? You just put it down. You just sat there. Okay, I'm waiting.
Yeah, it was that one.
It was that one? Okay, cool. So there was no deep meaning behind it. There was no philosophical, deep understanding. Okay, good. So, well, for those of you who are listening, maybe next time you get frustrated, just try and do what Tyler does. Say, screw it, drop the phone, and just wait. All right, so another thing that I want to hit on, so I don't know if this is going to hit home with too many people, but diet. Diet is a huge thing because like I said, when I was in high school, I was fat, I was overweight. I didn't realize, obviously most kids don't understand what diet, nutrition, all that stuff is because most of us aren't taught about it, period. And one thing I've learned over the past couple of years is when I was in high school, I drank soda like every single day, ate whatever I wanted to eat, and never put any focus into it. And when I got out of high school and realized like all the insecurities I still had because of my friends, like there was a point where for like a year and a half, my friends would call me fat. That was their funny nickname for me when we'd skate. So it just stuck with me, and I always thought it was something I'd never be able to kick. But these last couple of years, I've realized how, like, you've ever heard the saying, you are what you eat?
Yep.
That's never been further from the truth, because after I started watching what I eat, started watching what I drink, like, I don't drink soda anymore. If I do, I drink this stuff called Zevia. Have you ever heard of it? Dude, super bomb. But yeah, just wanted to hit on that. So for those of you who have like, if you have insecurities about your past weight or anything like that, yes, exercise is great. It's phenomenal. It works. But your diet is probably like 70 to 80% of it, because yeah, you could run 100 miles a day. Well, maybe not 100. You could run 10 miles a day, but those 10 miles are not going to counteract the pizza, the ice cream, the breadsticks, the soda. It's just not going to work. So just listen to some information on how to fix your diet. Check out the keto diet. Check out the carnivore diet. Check out something. But yeah, I've been on keto for a long time and I love it. Works great. So anything else that you can see on here? We're still on the first page.
Okay.
If there's nothing else on this first page, flip that puppy over and let's go to page number 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
I already spotted something on here. I flipped over. I cheated a little bit.
Yeah, I saw you cheating, but I wasn't going to point it out.
Social interaction.
Okay.
One of the things school doesn't teach you.
Ooh, yeah, we made a list of the things that school doesn't teach you. This is something that I just came up with off the top of my head. Number 1, money management. They don't teach you how to spend your money, save your money, invest your money. They don't teach anything about that. If anything, they teach you how to get in debt.
Oh, yeah.
School loves to teach you how to get in debt. They'll teach you how to bury yourself for the rest of your life.
They don't teach you how to do taxes.
No, they don't teach you really anything but a bunch of useless information. Now, social interaction, they don't teach you anything about that. Leadership development, I almost want to take that back just a little, because there's this program called PLUS, Peer Leaders Uniting Students. It taught me everything about social interaction, taught me how to lead, taught me how to speak. If I didn't do PLUS, I guarantee I would not know how to speak right now. Yeah. I would have no confidence. And diet nutrition. So that was my little off the top of my head thing. So tell us about social interaction and how you maybe wish they'd teach it or whatever.
Like for the third time, this is going to be the third time I've said this, but people, not my favorite thing.
Everybody's going to know after this that, hey, Tyler just doesn't like people. Hopefully I'll just send him some graphic design tips or something. Maybe he'll like me.
Yeah, no, but social.
Okay, social interaction.
I just wish, like, I know they don't teach social interaction, but I wish they would teach it less than they do. Sometimes, like, we're forced to work with other people. Sometimes I'm like, I just like to work by myself sometimes, because I don't like having to rely on other people to get this work done.
Okay.
Like in a group project, I'm always the one that ends up having the entire workload.
It'd almost be better if they were like, okay, introverts, you get to work together. Exactly. Extroverts, you get to work together.
Exactly.
We're actually going to help you, and we're going to figure out how you work better. Because, yeah, if you stick 3 introverts in a group together, good luck getting anything done, and good luck having them enjoy it in the process. You get a bunch of extroverts together, they'll actually get an A in the class because they'll be able to have fun together.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is, dude, forced social interaction is probably the worst thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the worst thing. So yeah, dude, schools need to take note on that everybody has different personalities. Everybody has a way that they get their work done in the most productive manner. And yeah, if they could recognize that, that would be huge.
One thing I think teachers, I think most teachers are obviously extroverts, because I don't want to be a teacher because I don't want to stand in front of a class and talk.
It's a good perspective.
So I don't think they realize that some people don't actually like working in groups and don't actually, some of them. I know some teachers who don't like, you can work by yourself.
That's pretty wise. That's a pretty wise analysis there. Because dude, I mean, now that I think about it, dude, every teacher I've had, there's only few that I can think back on and be like, yep, they were an introvert and they chose the wrong career.
Yeah.
Like, it's very few and far between, because I mean, the fact that, they have to be in front of a classroom teaching every day, I feel like that would be like torture for an introvert.
Oh yeah.
It wouldn't work. Like the substitute teachers that come in and put movies on, those are introverts, and they are totally going down the wrong path.
But that's why they're a substitute teacher.
Right? They're just trying to figure things out. They're just trying to figure things out.
Like, especially for talking on the subject of talking in front of a group of people.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the reasons why I'm not necessarily excited to go up on stage for this sermon because...
Oh, dude. Okay, so just off topic, this kid's about to start preaching at Cornerstone. He's going to get up there and preach his first sermon. And, oh my gosh, he preached it for me the other day. This kid is, you're 14, 15, 14?
Almost 15.
Almost 15. Oh my gosh, this kid's almost 15. He's about to preach for his first time in front of like 100 kids. And the funny thing is I didn't know how he was going to do when he started preaching towards me. But sure enough, by the end of it, I'm blown away. Can't believe it. And yeah, he's going to do a phenomenal job. So before he goes to preach, we're going to advertise it. We're going to get a whole big crowd outside. We're going to bring him out.
Oh, gosh.
No, I'm just kidding. We won't make you do that.
1 versus 200.
I'm just kidding. So one thing I just saw that I wanted to hit on real quick. Fear, the price you pay living in it. So have you heard the analogy before? So fear, false evidence appearing real. Have you ever heard that before?
I don't think so.
So like if you obviously like you've seen where like you write a letter down, you give it all. Yeah. So fear, false evidence appearing real, or even fake evidence appearing real. So I remember high school. There were very few things I was afraid of. Very few. I'd say the number one thing I was afraid of was probably getting beat up by people. That was scary. Freshman year, dude, oh my gosh, I thought I was gonna get beat up like every day. There was one day some dude threw. I was eating, like I said, I was kind of chubby in high school, and so there was one day I bought 3 chicken sandwiches just for lunch. Dude took my second one, slammed it in my face, and yeah, dude, it was terrible. So, but back to what I was saying when it comes to fear. If you live in fear, you're basically living in a fake reality. You're creating some situation that's not even really occurring. And when I was in high school, I was scared that I was either going to get bullied. I was scared that my friends weren't going to like me. And I don't know, besides just, mostly social things I was afraid of. And then when I got out of high school, my fear was, how am I going to be rich? Am I ever going to have anybody that's like, am I ever going to get married? Am I ever going to have kids? Am I ever going to do this? Am I ever going to do that? Like all those insecurities created tremendous amounts of fear. And it's what sucks is like all those things I worried about, I never really encountered. I never had to face most of those fears because they were complete false realities. And I'd say, these last couple months, like fear hasn't been too much a part of my life except when it came to finances. Because fear was a scary thing. But lately I've got it all figured out. But when it comes to your life and fear, is there anything that you've ever like projected into like in your mind that might happen that was totally never going to happen?
Oh, dude, so, like every roller coaster ever.
Every roller coaster. It's going to break. I'm going to die. It's going to break. I'm going to die. No. You don't understand. It's going to break and I'm going to die.
And so just to touch on this, I think in some cases though, fear is a good thing. Like it's not necessarily fake. Like it could keep you, like your friends are going to some construction yard and they want to like goof around and you're afraid you'll get caught. You have that fear that they're going to get caught, so you don't go. And sooner or later you find out they got arrested and they went to jail for that night.
Dude, that is a great counter little argument to mine, because that's totally, dude, there are moments, where fear keeps you safe. Fear keeps you safe. Yeah. Cause oh my gosh. Now that you say that, I remember, dude, in high school, it wasn't that they were bad people at all. Most of my friends in high school were great. We loved to do stupid things. And what's funny is, there were moments where, I decided that ain't for me. I ain't going to do it. And I remember at least 2 circumstances where like friends legit got in trouble with the law because I was scared and didn't go. And that exact thing, like you said, happened at least twice with my friends, where I was so scared that I'm like, I ain't doing it. Yeah. And then they go and do it, and boom, they get popped by the police. And I'm like, I'm glad I was terrified.
Yep.
So that's a good point. I guess if you live in fear, that could be the hard part. But certain amounts of fear, I guess that could be good, especially if it's a really bad false reality. Like you said, like, even though it's fear, like, oh, my fear is that I'm going to go to jail. It's like, that's a good fear. I should definitely fear that, and I should get the heck out of here.
Yeah,
All right, so that's good. I really like that.
You know that you need to know the difference between real fear and fake fear.
Yeah, yeah.
Because even though I said I'm afraid of every roller coaster and they all turned out fine, I'm still afraid of roller coasters.
So, what's the biggest roller coaster you've been on? Where have you been to Six Flags Magic Mountain or no?
No,
definitely not.
Just another roller coaster thing. We were at Knott's Berry Farm for our 8th grade field trip.
Okay.
And I walked around with my friends, and they got on the rides, and I would sit outside the rides waiting for them because every single ride they wanted to go on was this huge roller coaster where you had to go upside down on your side, and you had to get like locked in by this thing. And I was like, I cannot.
All right.
So I didn't go on any rides that day.
I didn't go. Take some water, and I didn't go on any rides. Decided it was totally not my thing.
Yep.
All right, good stuff. Good stuff. Let's see. Anything else? Can you see anything else on here you want to touch on before we scroll to the last and final page? Let's see. Man, I just want to say thanks to everybody watching. I'm so happy that you guys are getting something out of it. It's super exciting. Anything else you can see, my friend, before we flip the page?
Dealing with drama.
Ooh, okay. Tell me how you deal with drama. Do you got drama at school? You got any?
Like I said, even the first week of school, I get people and I walk over and I wore a pink shirt to the first day of school and they're
dude, hold on. You wore a pink shirt the first day.
Yep.
You're just like, I'm going in bold.
Yep.
If I'm gonna get bullied, it's gonna be today. I'm starting off on a good note. Yep. I'm gonna just bring the lashes. Okay, yeah, so you wore a pink shirt. I like it.
Like you said, I'm gonna get bullied the first day. You look like a salmon. The shirt matches your skin tone, which on all honesty, the shirt did match my skin tone.
That's great. Okay.
I got just like the weirdest because I was wearing pink. You look gay. You're more gay than you were last year. And I'm like, was I gay at all last year?
Oh my. All right. So how did you deal with that? Because dude, to be honest, that's not cool. Especially, dude, nowadays we live in the most sensitive society on the planet. I saw this article the other day that somebody in office is trying to make it so that churches are not allowed to even talk about being gay. They're not even allowed to bring it up. If they bring it up, they're trying to make it against the law. They're trying to literally I have nothing against it. I don't care. Yeah. The point is that they're trying to make free speech no longer free. Yeah. That I find is insanity. But I'm not going to go on a tangent on that. Yeah. Let's get back to the pink shirt and the insults and tell me how you handled it. The salmon shirt.
So last year, these people that said these things were my friends.
Yep.
And pretty much what I did over summer is I narrowed my friend group of 50 people down to like 4 people.
Wise. Very wise.
Dude, I can't stand people. 4th time I've said that.
Hashtag Tyler can't stand people. Hashtag Kyler loves people. Yeah. Introvert, extrovert, the greatest polar opposites.
Yeah, so I just pretty much deleted all these people from my life, so it doesn't even matter what they say anymore.
So how did you deal with that specific drama? Did you just shut it out? Who cares? No big deal.
Yeah, I was just like, you know what? These people don't mean anything to me, so why should I honestly care about what they say?
Dude, that's a good mentality. I don't think many people have the ability to just let stuff slide off their back. Most people, it just cuts deep. Okay, dealing with drama. Do I have anything to put in? Okay, the only thing I can think about dealing with drama, so my life is pretty simple. I just go to work every day, do coffee with Kyler every day, and then go home, hang out, and enjoy my time with my 2 dogs, my cat, and my couple fishies. But dealing with drama at work, I work at the greatest place on the planet. I work at Man Push Rods, best place ever. I make engine parts and for race cars, super fun. But at work, the only drama I've had to deal with is there's a gentleman that works next to me who doesn't speak very good English, but he loves to talk to you. So 95% of it, I don't understand. I try my best. I try very hard. I nod. I smile. And I most of the thing, my go-to response is, dude, that makes a lot of sense. Great. And I found out the other week he hates that. Because most of the time it doesn't fit. my general response rarely fits to
it's a question.
It's a question. It's something, and I have no idea what it is. So my responses have really got to him, and I found out through the grapevine of telephone at work that he was pretty hurt by it. He was like, I try and help him. He never says thank you, and so I was devastated. I felt so bad knowing that I was hurting his feelings. So what I did, instead of confronting him and trying to have a conversation that I knew I wouldn't understand most of it, I prayed about it and I waited for the next day. And I was hoping that he would give me any sense of advice so I could just say thank you. And I got way more than I bargained for. Way more. That dude became my best friend by the end of the day. Everybody at work had no idea why he was talking to me so much. And for some reason, I understood at least 20% more than I usually do. We started talking about aliens. We started talking about God. We started talking about intuition and how we just know things. And dude, it was so funny. I probably said thank you 100 times. And by the end of the entire day, it was just unbelievable how that whole problem got resolved. Now, most people's drama is a billion times more severe than mine.
No.
But what's funny is I think that mental attitude of like, hey, I hurt this person's feelings without even recognizing it. Instead of me getting defensive and realizing, because the way he described it was not in a nice fashion. I definitely made it look a lot better than it was. He was more along the lines of, I don't like this kid. He's disrespectful, blah, 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 blah. But I didn't want to get offended by it because, yeah, that's the last thing I want to do is make somebody's day worse by my actions. So that's kind of how I try and deal with some drama. But last page. Let's get to this last page. We're going to talk about, it's not even more topics. We're going to ask ourselves, what's the dream of the podcast? So, Tyler, I want you to put yourself a couple years in advance, and I want you to tell me where you see the vision of this podcast going.
Well, I told you a few days ago, or a few nights ago, I don't remember when it was, 2 days ago, that I see the potential. Like, I'm okay, 3-4 listeners on iTunes. I'm okay with 10 people watching the live stream. I'm okay with 0 people watching the live stream.
How many times have you looked over and saw 0 just by a question?
The entire time.
Oh, you've checked it a bunch?
Yeah.
Okay, see, I'm going to be honest. I've looked at that number up at the top left corner at least 50 times. And I try and not make it look. But what's funny is, I'm going to let you continue. I was going to say how we're always trying to find confirmation within ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody, it's like you put something out into the world. How many people are watching? How many people care? Do people care? Dude. Do people care? Do people care? And people just get so consumed with caring about what other people think. But to be honest, I've had so much fun. I'm having the time of my life. I could care less if anybody was watching. But the fact that somebody is or anybody is the biggest blessing on earth.
So I'd like to comment on that a little bit.
Go for it.
Is my dad has a YouTube channel. He's actually watching right now, so I can say this. He has a YouTube channel, and he's obsessed with like going on there, and he just hit 100 subscribers, which is super cool.
Nice. Congratulations, Mike.
But he goes on there, and he's like, he even told me he's obsessed of going on there, like 80 subscribers, and he's going 89, 91, 80, or like he'll go back to 89, and he just fluctuates until he hit 100, then he's stable. So he was obsessed with looking at the number, checking that number, and even now, like I'm obsessed with checking his views. I have access to his account, and I have access to watching these view numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And so he just published something about the Holy Fire 3 days ago, and it's something at like 500 views. In the first 2 hours, it was at 150 views, which for his channel is really good. For any channel, it's really good. A small channel is really good, not a big channel. But I was obsessed with checking these numbers, so I wanted confirmation that what I thought, because I thought that was a really, really good video. I wanted confirmation that other people thought that was a good video too.
So how, like, I completely am on the same exact thing. When I started Coffee with Kyler, the first couple weeks, I probably looked at my phone more than I did the entire last year combined. Like, I was looking at my phone every couple seconds, hoping, did I blow up? Did I go viral?
Yeah.
Did somebody who watched it? Who saw it? And I was so obsessed that, dude, after a couple weeks, I had to turn off my notifications. I had to. I was like, if I don't turn my notifications off, I'm going to go psycho.
Yep.
And not only is it going to like, it was literally affecting my mood. Like, there would be days where it's like, oh my God, I got 40 views. And it was the best day ever. And the next day I hit 38. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm not growing. Like, everything's falling apart. Like, dude, what's funny is I've been at 250 followers roughly on Instagram for months, for like 3 or 4 months, and I haven't cared.
Yeah.
Like, I'm at a point where I realize, like, followers don't matter. Comments don't matter. Like, don't get me wrong, the people matter more than anything, but it's that confirmation that you're important. Dude, you gotta lose that thing. Like, if you don't find self-worth from God and you're trying to find it in other people, dude, you're gonna live your life just waiting for another like.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, dude, but the good thing about, I mean, there's probably a good side of it as well, like being in tune with like how your progress is.
Yep.
But I think, like you said earlier with fear, there's a middle ground for everything.
Mm-hmm.
There's like, if you turn your notifications off and yet you still find yourself checking, dude, you need to like be more disciplined and make a time where you're going to check. And I think that if you get so consumed with checking and not posting, that's probably a bad thing. Like, where like with me, if you want more likes, if you want more people, just do more, contribute more. I mean, this is an essential thing that most successful people say. You get paid by how much value you add to the marketplace. If you're not adding value to people's lives, don't consider your stuff to grow.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you have to be on an active pursuit of influencing and helping other individuals in order to get that growth. And like with your dad's channel, I think that the reason he's even at 100 subscribers is because he cares.
Yep.
You got to think that most people, you look back 20 years ago, literally 20 years ago, if somebody were to come up to you and say, hey, you're actually going to be able to post a video and you're going to have over 150 people watch it, people would think that that's psychotic. Our parents or even our grandparents, their greatest idea was probably not heard by more than 5 or 6 people.
Yeah.
Maybe 10. But most people, they could start an Instagram page right now, put one good post on with a couple good hashtags, and that thing can get 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 likes, all based off of the platform that we have now. So, dude, I think that we have an opportunity with the internet, with social media, with everything.
Yeah. Yep.
Dude, we could reach millions of people. Those 18 million depressed people in America alone, dude, this is why we're doing it. That's why we're here.
So one of his videos, his biggest video, even though he only has 105 subscribers so far, which is it's a feat in of itself.
Yeah.
2.8 thousand views on this video.
Yeah, see, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, some people be like 2,800 views. I watched a video yesterday with 5 million. It's like, yeah. But it's the fact that everybody has that chance.
Yeah.
Like, everybody has that chance. And if you are going to get upset because you don't reach up to somebody else's expectations or somebody else's level, like, dude, comparison is probably the most poisonous thing that anybody can do to themselves. If you start comparing anything about yourself with anybody else, you're literally hurting yourself. The only thing you should ever compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. That is the only person you should compare yourself to. Is who was I yesterday? That's how you can see growth. That's how you can measure where you're going. And like, what were you going to say? I heard you just open your mouth and I didn't want to cut you off.
I don't even remember.
Nice. I love those moments, don't you? But like with your dad's video with 2,800 views, like if we could get to a point where we could even have 2,800 views on something like this.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, that's life change, bro. That is life change. Like, that's all that matters. And dude, like you said earlier, 3 people listening on iTunes is 3 people that I would have never been able to reach without effort.
That we impacted today.
Yeah. Like, that's the part that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, I love it so much.
So down the road, though, we might be reaching millions of people, thousands, I'm okay with thousands, but millions of people we might be able to reach. Even if those views don't stack up, we could get people saying, hey, I heard this podcast yesterday, they said this, which doesn't count as a view on the clock.
No, but your idea is spreading.
Your idea is spreading. Exactly.
Yeah.
So down the line, of course, I expect this to blow up. I think it's going to get big. I hope it's going to get big. I see this being something big.
Oh, yeah.
I see us doing this 5-10 years down the line.
Oh, for sure. I mean, It's a Friday night. It's Friday, people. It's Friday. And guess what we're doing? we're taking our time to try and make sure that somebody else gets to go to bed tonight resting a little bit easier, having confidence that tomorrow when they wake up, they can tackle the day in a new way.
Yep.
Like, dude, that is the greatest gift that the internet, that social media has ever been able to provide for me, at least. It gives me that confidence within myself. Because and the fact that I could go to bed resting easier, knowing that, it gives me more energy the next day to go out and just kill it even more. And that's why, dude, I can't wait till we have to do this 5 nights a week. That's what I'm excited for. Like, the fact that I have to wait 7 more days for this, it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Like, I'm literally like, man, I'm not going to be sitting here recording another podcast for a week.
Yeah.
That is depressing. And it's like, we obviously could push it out further. We might push it out more where we can do even more, but obviously we all have a life and we got to make sure it works. But
well, even like today, I'm going through school and school.
Dude, you are going to be so famous for just hating people but loving them at the same time.
Yeah. So
that's so
I'm going
great.
through school today, and I'm going through school yesterday, and like Tuesday, I had something to look forward to. We're going to sit at the bean and we're going to plan this out.
Yeah.
Wednesday, I had volleyball practice to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday, I had nothing to look forward to. The girls had their away game,
Mm-hmm.
and I helped coach them. And so today, all throughout the day, I'm like, man, today I get to go home. I get to film a podcast, do a live stream. It's going to be super cool. We're going to watch the views rack up. It was just something I looked forward to all day long.
Dude, I was in the exact same position. I can't count how many people I told about it. I think I told my boss I'm doing a live stream today probably 10 times. And every time his look kept getting more like, I've heard this 100 times this week, son. Like, you keep telling me. But yeah, it's literally like a magnet. Like, there was a huge magnet on Friday at 4:00, and I was getting dragged there with every ounce of my soul, just waiting for this moment. And yeah, if I could get somebody out there to just push themselves, like to literally push yourself to find what your magnet is, like what is that thing that you daydream about that you wish you would do, find what that is. And if you literally have no idea how to get there, but you have this idea, that's why we're here. Our goal is to help you. So if you have this passion, this dream, this goal, and you don't know what step 1, 2, and 3 is to get there, guess what? That's why we're here to help you. So reach out. Let us help you the best that we can, because if you can start tomorrow on something that could help change the lives of hundreds or thousands or millions or even billions of people, man, I can't wait to see what you can do. I can't wait. There's going to be at least 3 to 5 billion more people coming online in the next 5 to 10 years. By 2025, I think it's like over 3/4 of the world is supposed to have the internet in their pocket, which means that the entire world is at your fingertips. So see what you're capable of, find what your gift is, and go out there and start working towards it.
Man, that's a line that's all too familiar.
Bro, we should probably end on that note.
Yeah.
That was good. That was one of those God moments where I'm like, hey, dude, thanks for talking. Thanks for talking.
Man, that was good. I should write that down.
I should write that down. Oh, thank God this is recorded.
Yeah.
But
in like 3 different places.
I know, dude. I get kind of like vertigo looking at how many streams we have. My face is in so many spots. I'm just waiting for it to pop up somewhere.
Yeah. So
any final thoughts to leave with our amazing, wonderful, wonderful listeners?
So you say you can reach out to us. I think we should give them a way to do that. Instagram.
Oh, yeah. Let's plug it, dude. Got to plug it. So my Instagram, you can literally, if you just go on Google and type in #coffee with Kyler, no spaces. You'll get all my YouTube videos that I've posted. And I'm pretty sure if you do that as well, you'll find my Instagram. My Instagram is @Kyler_Morris. So Kyler, Kyler Morris. It's like Norris, but with an M, Chuck Norris. Yeah. So that's my Instagram. And then Facebook, you just find me on there, Kyler Morris. Find Coffee with Kyler. You'll find me on there. Daily Coffee with Kyler. That's every single day. Same with Activate the Word. Plug your stuff, my friend.
Okay, so my Instagram is actually private, so that's what you kind of have to look for. I don't have it, so you can just follow me. You guys have to actually request, and then I accept. But it's @Tyler_Reber. So that's TYLER_REBER.
Gangsta.
And yeah, activate the word every night. I post it on my story, and then it's on a highlight reel on my actual profile, so you can actually go back and watch them from like 51 days ago. Today I'll be the 52nd one, which is super cool.
Nice. Congratulations.
And
so are you going to start posting yours on Instagram as well to activate the words? I think you've been doing that lately, right?
On the activate the word Instagram. So they actually have an actual Instagram activate the word.
Okay, so plug that. What's that? Is that just straight up at activate the word?
It's activate.the.word.
Perfect. Okay. Activate.the.word.
Yep.
Beautiful. Love it. Now, anything else? Do you have any other? Oh, make sure to follow your YouTube. Find us on YouTube. It's everywhere. Just
Activate
like I said,
the word.
Google Coffee with Kyler. You'll see it. Yeah, I think that is it for episode number 1 of the Tyler and Kyler Show.
This week is episode number 2.
Next week's episode number 2, and we are going to be talking about, should we give them a little preview of next week? We might as well, right?
Might as well.
All right, so next week, we're going to be talking about how to overcome these first couple weeks or months of a brand new school year.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to be talking about. So for all you high schoolers, all you even college students, this is going to be relatable to college as well. I'm going to do my best. Haven't been. I'm pretty sure it's easy to understand. So that's where we're going to leave off. We love you all. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. And we will see you
next week.
Adios. Peace out, amigos.
Oh gosh, how do I end that?
Oh, yeah, here we go. Yeah. And the stream.